All right, let's pray in. All right. This is Deuteronomy, or Devarim, chapter 6, and verse 4. Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah our Elohim, Yahuwah is one. Shema Yisrael, Shema Yisrael, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Echad. This is Exodus, or Shemot, chapter 20, at verse 3. We will have no other mighty ones. Against the Most High. We will not make any carved image. Or any likeness. Of that which is in Shamayim above. Or which is in the earth beneath. Or which is in the waters under the earth. We will not bow down to them. Nor serve them. Yahuwah El is a jealous El, visiting the wickedness of the fathers on the children, to the third and fourth generation of those that hate him, but showing kindness to thousands of those who love him and keep his commandments. We will not bring the name of Yahuwah El to nothing, for Yahuwah will not leave us unpunished. Who brings his name to nothing. We will remember the Shabbat day. To keep it Kodesh. 6 days we will labor. We do all our work. But the seventh day is the Shabbat. Yahuwah El. For in 6 days, Yahuwah made Shamayim, and the earth, and the sea, and all that is in them. And rested the seventh day. Therefore, Yahuwah barak the Shabbat day. We will respect our fathers and our mothers, so that the days are long upon the earth. We will not murder. We will not commit adultery. We will not steal. We will not bear false witness against our neighbor. We will not covet anything that is our neighbor. Father Yah, we give thanks to you on this day, your set apart Shabbat, Father, for allowing us all to make it here safely. And when we leave here, Father, we ask that you allow us to get back to our destination safely. Father, we just ask right now that you open up our hearts, our ears, our minds, Father, that your word don't fall on deaf ears, and that your word can be manifest inside of us, Father, that we can walk after your word when we hear it. Father, we ask that you allow your Ruach to rain down in this place, Father, that we may be able to bask in your Ruach, Father, that we become one with your Ruach, Father, that you grant us all wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and discernment in your scriptures, Father, that you remove every prideful thought in our mind and every prideful feeling in our flesh, Father. We ask that you allow us to fight it off, Father, using your Ruach, Father. We just ask that you give us this word, Father, and we may be able to walk it out when we step out of these doors and go into the world. All these things we pray and we give thanks. Hashem, Yahuwah, Adonai, Hoshua, Hamashiach, Ruach HaKodesh, so be it.
So be it.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Mute your phones, mute your phones, mute your phones. For everybody on the stream, sorry for the delay. We had a nice snowstorm come through here, so that's why we're a little late. That's why there was no children's lesson. We had a big little storm that came through here.
All right. Shabbat shalom. How's everybody? So, B's lesson last week was about tearing down strongholds, right? But it's one stronghold that I believe is the strongest one. What do y'all think that is? That's always the answer. Well, we got to go past that. Right. What is it? Okay. So I'm gonna ask this one more time. What is the strongest? The flesh, right? Flesh. Okay, since he said that encompasses everything, we gotta go deeper. What about the flesh?
Desires.
The desires. What does the flesh desire? What entices you?
What feels good?
Next question.
We're gonna go. This is the PG station. Oh my goodness. So, whether you know it or not, there's a war going on for your soul. Right? You hear that? There is a war that's going on for your soul. And it's all around you, everywhere you go. It's put out there. It's trying to ensnare you and take you to the fire. Strongest holds. Let's get 1 Peter chapter 2. Pick it up at verse 11.
This is 1 Peter chapter 2 at verse 11. Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lust.
Do what?
Abstain from fleshly lust.
He says to abstain from fleshly lust. What does that mean? Abstain from fleshly lust. Anybody, what does that mean?
Anything that fight against the spirit. Everybody's flesh is like things. Every your flesh is like things. That's gonna take you away from the spirit.
Go ahead.
Anything that's contrary.
Okay. He says this. Abstain from fleshly lust. Go ahead.
Which war against the soul.
Which do what?
Which war against the soul.
So he says this thing, the fleshly lust, it wars against the soul. So when something is at war with you, what is it trying to do to you? Defeat you, to kill you. So he says this fleshly lust is at war with you or against your soul. So it's trying to destroy you. It's trying to get rid of you. Pick it up where B was at. 2 Corinthians chapter 2. Chapter 10, verse 3. Let's see what the strongest hold is, or the biggest stumbling block in most people's lives.
2 Corinthians chapter 10 at verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh.
Go ahead.
For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal.
Are not what?
Are not carnal.
Go ahead.
But mighty through Elohim to the pulling down of strongholds.
To the what?
Pulling down of
To
strongholds.
the pulling down of strongholds. Read on.
Casting down imaginations.
Doing what?
Casting down imagination.
Because a lot of the stuff starts in the mind. Okay, casting down imaginations. So when these different thoughts come into your head, you're supposed to cast it down or get rid of it. Not let it stay in there and keep thinking on it. Because a lot of it starts right in your mind. What verse you in?
This is verse 5.
Go ahead.
Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of Elohim, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Mashiach.
And every what?
Every thought into the obedience of Mashiach.
So you're supposed to get in control of your mind, get in control of your thoughts. The enemy knows your desires. He's been here a long time. He's been here from Adam, through Abraham, through David, through Solomon, through everybody. Right? So he knows everything that can tempt you to get off course. So a woman is supposed to be what for a man? What was she created to be? It's helpmeet, right? But she's actually been turned into his weakness. She's supposed to be his helpmeet, but in most cases, in this way that this thing has been set up, she has been turned into his weakness. That's deep within itself. Let's get Acts 15. Verse 19.
Acts chapter 15 at verse 19. Wherefore my sentence is that we trouble not them which from among the Gentiles are turned to Elohim, but that we write unto them that they abstain from pollutions of idols.
Do what?
That they abstain from pollutions of idols, and from fornication, and from the things strangled, and from blood.
So he says that they abstain from pollutions of idols and abstain from fornication. Right? So this is one of the first things that they would talk to somebody that was coming into the faith that they had to convert from and stop doing. Now, again, like I said, this thing is all around you. Everywhere you look, it's around you. When you watch a intense movie and you watching the scene, how does it make you feel? Say, for instance, if a guy was standing at this door and he had about 100 keys, and Jason was walking down the sidewalk and he had to find the right key to be able to open that door up, and you watching this, how does that make you feel?
Your heart like.
It's an intense moment, right? So when you're watching this on a movie, you feeling what the person in the movie feel, right? When you watch a scary, a sad movie, what happens to you? I watched John Q for the first time last week. Right? It put me in the place of him, and I was thinking about my baby boy, that being him. Right? Made me sad watching it. So, if you watch a movie and it's got a sex scene in it, what happens to you?
They don't feel that out.
The other movies get you enough, but What takes place with you? I know you don't want to say it, but
Turn the TV on. Fast forward, it's done. I'm fast forward. I'm probably fast forward.
I'm a product. Survey says.
I don't watch TV because of that.
beautiful.
Like, even in Louisville, I just go to the church and I be like, go to bars, things up there. But you say because everything is not that, but anytime there's something that want to take over you, you got to do it.
Exactly. Exactly. So we're gonna see as we go through this that again, this is why it's everywhere. Even if you turn the TV off, even if you turn the Facebook off, even if you turn all of the stuff off, and you go outside, it's there. When you go to the grocery store, it's on the magazines. The women are walking around in it. Right? No matter where you can't escape it. That's why he says you are in the world, but not of it. So this is again the strongest hold that I believe. What verse you with?
Verse 20.
Go ahead.
But that we write unto them that they abstain from pollutions of idols, from fornication, from things strangled, and from blood. For Moses of old time hath in every city them that preach him, being read in the synagogue every Sabbath day.
Every what day?
Every Sabbath day.
Every Sabbath day. So again, that's why he says to meditate on this word day and night, to stay in it. This will keep your mind away from the pollutions of the world that they got set up for you. It's all out here on purpose because it's a war for your soul that's going on. Back to that 2 Corinthians 10:5 again. So he mentions the books of Moses being read every Sabbath. 2 Corinthians chapter 10:5.
2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 5. Casting down imagination.
Doing what?
Casting down imagination.
Casting down imagination. When he says imaginations, what do that take your mind back to? Reasoning. To the law, though. Anywhere in the law. Something about imaginations. Let's go back to it. Let's go to Genesis chapter 6. Genesis chapter 6 and verse 3.
Genesis chapter 6 and verse 3. And Yahuwah said, my Ruach shall not always strive with man, but that he also is flesh.
He is what?
He also is flesh.
He also is flesh. So we inside of this sinful flesh, which Mashiach came on and took on. Inside of sinful flesh. Read.
Yet his days shall be 120 years.
Go ahead.
There were giants in the earth in those days.
Jump to verse 5.
Verse 5. And Elohim saw the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination.
That every what?
Every imagination.
He says to cast down imaginations. These people back here went on whatever they thought. Wherever the mind took them at, they did it. This is why you're supposed to cast it down. You know what happened to these people that did this, right? They got took away. So if you follow the imaginations of your mind or your heart, you're going to get what?
Taken away.
Taken away. No, that means to die. Read that verse 5 again.
And Elohim saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
Was what?
Was only evil continually.
Continuously, perpetual, non-stop, evil all day long. Again, it's all around you. Everywhere you turn, you're going to find out it's all there for you to set you up, because it's a war for your soul. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. Go ahead. 4 and 3.
1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 3. For this is the will of Elohim, even your sanctification, that you shall abstain from fornication.
Whose will is this?
This is the will of Elohim, even your sanctification, that you shall abstain from fornication.
Go ahead.
That every one of you should know how to possess his vessel in sanctification and honor.
He says that every one of you should know how to possess his vessel. What does that mean? Know how to possess your vessel. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 3. Let me know when you got it.
Right after Colossians.
Read that again.
1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 3. For this is the will of Elohim, even your sanctification, that you should abstain from fornication.
That you should do what?
Abstain from fornication.
He says that you shall abstain from fornication. Read on.
That every one of you should know how to possess his vessel in sanctification and honor.
Every one of you should know how to possess his vessel. This means self-control, right? So, if you have a lust problem, do you go to strip clubs? If you are an alcoholic, do you go to the bar? Shouldn't.
What about the corner store? Grab all of the.
Shouldn't have no parts of it. It's going to cause you. It's going to cause you to be weak and not able to possess your vessel. This is a nice way of saying it. Read that verse 4 again.
That every one of you should know how to possess his vessel in sanctification and honor.
Yep.
Not in the lust of concupiscence, even as the Gentiles which know not Elohim. That no man go beyond and defraud his brother in any matter.
You good right there. It says, not in the lust. What's that word again?
Concupiscence.
Even as the Gentiles. So we'll see people on TV will do anything, right? There ain't no filter. Whatever. Just do it. Dogs, animals, whatever. Say don't walk after the lust. You see them like letting dogs lick them in the mouth and all this type of stuff. Nasty. So we don't supposed to walk after the flesh, even though we are in the flesh. Galatians 5:16. We're going to get into the meat in a minute.
Galatians chapter 5.
Verse 16.
At verse 16. This I say then, walk in the Ruach, and you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh.
You shall what?
You shall walk in the Ruach and not fulfill the lust of the flesh.
So he says you should walk in the Ruach, and if you walk in the Ruach, then you won't fulfill the lust of the flesh. Sounds simple enough, right? But it must not be that simple, because I see a whole bunch of people going after the flesh. I got a whole bunch of people that hit me up in my inbox and tell me about it. Read.
Verse 17. For the flesh lust against the ruach.
It does what?
For the flesh lust against the ruach.
It lusts against the ruach. But which one is easier for most people? To follow the ruach or to follow the flesh?
Follow the flesh.
It's easier to follow the flesh. Everybody do that. Read.
For the flesh lust against the ruach, and the ruach against the flesh.
That means they are at war. Just like Peter said, it's a war going on inside you to do what's right and to do what your flesh wants to do. Right? Same thing with the pride. Now that we understand about pride, a lot of times we know exactly what to do. The pride is still in there saying, just wait. Because it's at war. Read.
And these are contrary the one to the other, so that you cannot do the things that you would.
See that? That you cannot do the things that you would. Read.
But if you be led by the ruach, you are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery.
What is it?
Adultery.
What else?
Fornication.
Adultery, fornication.
Uncleanliness.
You think when a person is getting ready to go out and commit adultery, that they don't have that thing that's in them saying to stop, don't do this, I know it ain't right. But what happens? The flesh overrides common sense. Then after it's over with, the terrible guilt feeling come in. Oh my God, what have I done? Right? Read that again.
The works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, sedition, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have told you in times past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Elohim.
They what?
They shall not inherit the kingdom of Elohim.
It says they will not inherit the kingdom of Elohim. Remember that war I was telling you about? That means that the serpent guy won if you follow his path. So now you're going to be at war against Yah. Has Yah ever lost a war?
No.
That means you're going to get defeated if we follow the flesh, right? But again, it's always real easy to follow it and go after it. Let's get John chapter 15, verse 18.
Chapter 15, verse 18.
Yep.
The book of John, or Yehukanan, chapter 15, verse 18. If the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world will love his own.
You said what?
If you were of the world will love his own.
If you was of this world, the world would love its own. So, is anybody in here of the world still? Let me ask it again. Is there anybody in here still of the world? Supposed to be in the world, but not of it. So nobody's in the world anymore, right? Okay, cool. Glad y'all said it. John 17, verse 14.
John 17:14. I have given them your word, and the world hath hated them, because they are not of the world.
Because what?
They are not of the world.
Because they are not of the world. And if the world is hating you, don't think if you going out and being mean and nasty and evil to people and they hate you, that's not what this is talking about. So if you're a camper and you go out, death to the white man. No, that doesn't mean this. The world hates you. It's a whole different thing. Read.
I have given them your word, and the world have hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. I pray not that you should take them out of the world.
So he ain't going to take you out of the world. He's going to leave you right in it, in the midst of all the wickedness. And your job is to overcome it. Right? Your job is to be down in the midst of the mud, in the mirror, and to overcome it. I ain't taking you out of it. I'm going to leave you right there around it. But you're supposed to be able to overcome it, like Mashiach did. It says that he was tempted in what? He was tempted in all things. Everything came his way. He was tempted in every way. Read that verse again.
I have given them your word, and the world have hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. I pray not that you should take them out of the world, but that you should keep them from the evil.
That you should do what?
Keep them from the evil.
Go ahead.
They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world.
So he says, they ain't of the world. We not supposed to be of the world, just like Mashiach was not of the world. And remember, he came down in sinful flesh to be tempted, just like we are. 1 John 2:15.
First John chapter 2, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
Say that again.
Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
So if you love the world or anything that's in the world, you are after the flesh. It says, love not the world or anything that's in the world. Read that again.
Verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
If you love anything in this world, you hold on to these things of the world, it says that the love of the Father is not in you. Matthew 22:37. Matthew chapter 22, verse 37.
Matthew 22, verse 37.
Remember, all of this stuff starts out in the mind. Like it says, casting down imaginations. In Genesis, it talk about that the imaginations of the thoughts of the heart was evil continuously. Remember, we are around a bunch of evil, a bunch of wickedness is around us at all times because we're in it. He say, I'm going to leave you in it, but you don't supposed to be of it, right? So our minds is constantly being polluted with trash. Read.
Matthew 22:37. Yeshua said unto them, you shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind.
With all your what?
With all your soul, with all your mind.
With all your mind. How can you love him with all your mind if your mind is on the stuff of the world, the filth of the world that's around us? That's on every magazine. That's all over Facebook. That's all over YouTube. That's all over Instagram. That's all in the magazines. Everywhere that you turn is there. Then you turn the TV on, it's there. Even in commercials. So he says you got to love God with all your soul, all your heart, and with all your mind. So this is why he says to meditate on this book of the law day and night, to put this into you as opposed to what the world is trying to put into you. Read.
This is the first and great commandment.
This is what?
The first and great commandment.
This is the first and great commandment. So again, nakedness is everywhere, right? It's promoted. They even trick you into in your face. A woman thinks she's wearing a bathing suit. So if you run in her house when she's in her underwear, she'll hide. But she'll go out in public in a bathing suit, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing, right? Well, the same places is covered, but I'm gonna go out in this. Well, I put a little sheer thing around mine.
I'm modest.
No.
I'm modest. Even though it's see-through too. I'm modest.
Exactly. So again, it's everywhere. No matter how you try to get away, we're gonna get a little deep. Again, people that's walking around, the magazine stands, all on the thing everywhere. It's everywhere you look around. You know it's got to get back to how it used to be, right? As in the days of Noah, as in the days of Lot, right? Get me Luke 17:28.
Luke chapter 17 and verse 28.
Luke chapter 17, verse 28. Read.
Likewise also, so it was in the days of Lot.
And whose days?
The days of Lot.
In the days of Lot. This is back in the Sodom and Gomorrah times. Read.
As it was in the days of Lot. They did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they builded. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from Shamaim.
It did what?
It rained fire and brimstone from Shamaim.
It rained fire and brimstone from Shamaim. So likewise in the days of Lot. So what was going on in the days of Lot? That's one of the big things, right? Homosexuality. How does that come into our community now? A big way that this comes in. The homosexuality. That's definitely one. I'm gonna show y'all a way. Get Isaiah 42:22. because there's a lot of sisters on the book is always talking about, I need me a husband.
Isaiah chapter 42 and verse 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled.
This is a people robbed and spoiled. Read.
They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in the prison houses.
Hid where?
In the prison houses.
What's happening to a lot of the young men that's happening right now?
Locked up.
Getting locked up, right? So when these men get locked up and you see that that revolving door go on with them, right? It takes them away from what? The women. So now that they are forced to live like animals, they start doing what's not natural. Right? You start doing what's not natural. Now it comes a point when I get out, oh, I'm gonna live this lifestyle. I don't even care if I go back. Right? Because a lot of them got turned out in there. Because I see they was talking about the tattoo tears on the guy's face. What it really means is he got took in prison, and the tattoo is to show him he's already been conquered. But the rappers then turned and made it like it's something, a good thing, but it's really terrible. It shows that he's been took already. All right?
Wow, Dennis is talking about that. Since I've been back in the workplace, and not just this time, but the job before this, a lot of the guys, when you talk to them, they're starting to say that every time they're trying to talk to women are saying now that they like women and men. You got so many women now who are both ways.
That's where we're going.
What you get into out here now? You got so many women. Guys are talking to young men. They're saying it's hard to find a woman now because most women say they like women too.
That's where we're going.
So it's like,
That's exactly where we're going with this. So again, you take the man from his natural way and you cage him up. He turns unnatural.
wow.
So now this leaves a void for the women that's out here. What do? It turned them over to the unnatural. Read that again.
But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses.
Hid where?
Prison houses.
Hid in prison houses. So again, you take the man, cage him up. He does the unnatural. It becomes natural to him. Now he don't even care no more. Come out, do what he do. I don't care if I go back. I'll let you know that's what I do. Romans chapter 1:22. Romans chapter 1 verse 22.
And it reads, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools.
They became what?
Fools.
Go ahead.
And changed the esteem of the uncorruptible Elohim into an image made like unto corruptible man, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. Wherefore Elohim also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts.
What?
To the lust of their own hearts.
Go ahead.
To dishonor their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of Elohim into a lie, and worshiped and served the creature more than the creator, who is increased forever. So be it. For this cause Elohim gave them up unto vile affections.
To what?
Vile affections.
To vile affections. What is that? Vile affections. Nastiness, which is unnatural. Read.
He gave them up to vile affections, for even their women did change their natural use into that which is against nature.
It's against nature. It don't even have to be taught to you. You already know it. It's don't even feel right, you can look at it and know that it ain't right. Right? The time my mom was going back to Egypt, to Morocco, and we was at the airport. This was, my daughter was a little bit younger, and these two men was at the airport, and they ran out and they kissed, and Kennedy was like, "Oh, dang, look at him." She knew it wasn't right. Like, because it's like, you know,
I gotta tell you that.
Nobody don't gotta tell you this. You already know. But when you keep doing this after the flesh, he give you up to it. Says he give you up to vile affections. Now you serve the flesh, all right? Because they was like, I think he asked him to marry him or something right there. It was a terrible scene. Right? Read that again.
Who changed the truth of Elohim into a lie, and worshiped and served the creature more than the creator, who is increased forever. So be it. For this cause Elohim gave them up unto vile affections. For even their women did change their natural use into that which is against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one towards another.
Disgusting. But it's everywhere. It's all on TV. It's everywhere. So now the men are making videos, kissing each other and all of this type of stuff. It's everywhere. So the more that you see it, the more it's being normalized to people. When Madonna made that video back in the day, she says, I wanted to make two men kiss on camera so I can take the shock away. All right. So now it's like the more you see it, the more guys is being accepted of it. Well, I don't care, man. As long as he cool, as long as he don't mess with me. What? Like, I'm the barber. If I'm a barber and that guy come and sit in my chair, I'm not cutting his hair. I'm not. Straight up. I'm not cutting it. So I watched some of the dudes that I used to run with. Man, that's money. No, I'm not doing it. I don't care. I'm not doing it. Absolutely. Absolutely. But talking about touching them? No, sir.
That boy come get in the chair, he don't even need a cut.
I just want you to touch my face. No. No, sir.
Man, did you get your hair cut yesterday?
But this thing is being promoted as all right. The church got them all in it now. Right?
Normal.
It's normal. He leading the man and man is pastors getting married. Women is getting married in the church. Right? Now, I hope that ain't in the Israelite world, but if it's in there, I'm pretty sure it's in this. Pretty sure it's in this. What verse was you at?
27.
Read.
And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one towards another, men with men, working that which is unseemly.
Working what?
Working that which is unseemly.
Working that which is unseemly.
And receiving in themselves the recompense of their error, which was meat.
Go ahead.
And even as they did not like to retain Elohim in their knowledge, Elohim gave them over to a reprobate mind.
See, that's what happens. Because you know that this book is against all that stuff. Most of them put it down. I don't believe in that book no more. There's too much contradictions in there. No, it's contradicting your lifestyle that you choose to follow. And you got to put it down in order to feel good about doing what you're doing. Read.
To do those things which are not convenient.
To do what?
those things which are not convenient.
To do those things which is not convenient. So these are all forms of darkness, right? Light and darkness, do they go together? Evil, good. They don't go together, right? Let's get Genesis chapter 1. Genesis chapter 1, pick it up at verse 4.
Genesis chapter 1 and verse 4. And Elohim saw the light, that it was good.
The light was what?
Good.
Go ahead.
And Elohim divided the light from the darkness.
He did what to him?
Divided the light from the darkness.
That means he did what to him?
Separated.
He separated them. So if you are light, why do you constantly hang around darkness?
The desire is towards that person.
Unless you are the absolute light and you know nothing can pull you back, then you shouldn't be around it. Like Mashiach was around sinners and publicans, because he knew, can't nothing pull me back into this, or not pull me back into it, but can't nothing pull me into this, right? But if you're not that strong with it, then you shouldn't be doing it. So these things are separated. And pride and humility dwell with each other. Light and darkness? Only time you do this is in a transition period. So when the day is turning into night, you get what? Which is a mixture of what? Light and dark, because it's a transition period. Means you're turning from one to the other one. Or in the light, in the morning, night turning in the morning. It's a transition period. This is the only time that they should be somewhat together, meaning you are transitioning from the darkness to the light.
So people shouldn't deceive themselves to make themselves think that they're strong enough.
Nope.
You got to be honest with yourself.
Exactly. Alcoholic. Oh man, I'm good. No, it's nothing. That's the good. Just one more sip. No, it's not wise. Not wise.
That's what you was trying to get away from.
That's a transition.
Right.
Let's get Revelations chapter 2:14. Remember, it's set up everywhere for you. Revelations chapter 2:14.
Revelation chapter 2 and verse 14. But I have a few things against you. Because though you have there them that hold the doctrine of Balaam.
Of who?
Of Balaam, who taught Balak to cast a stumbling block before the children of Israel.
To do what?
To cast a stumbling block before the children of Israel.
What is a stumbling block? So a woman is a man's helpmeet, but she's been turned into what? Absolutely. And vice versa. So somebody at this time taught to cast a stumbling block. Read.
The doctrine of Balaam, who taught Balak to cast a stumbling block before the children of Israel, to eat things sacrificed unto idols, and to commit fornication.
And to do what?
Commit fornication.
To eat things sacrificed unto idols and to commit fornication. So he just mentioned two characters, right? Balaam and Balak. What happened with Balaam and Balak? What happened with him? Let's go there. We've been taught all through music that something sells. What is it?
Sex.
Sex sells, right? It's the reason why somebody like Jennifer Hudson or Vesta Williams or something like that got the most beautiful voices, but they don't sell like Beyonce or somebody or any other. Rihanna. She can't even really sing. All right? She can't even sing, but she sell more records than them because she's selling something else.
Selling fornication.
Exactly. She's selling something else, not just about the voice. Where till you get? Numbers chapter 25. Pick it up at verse 1.
Numbers chapter 25 and verse 1. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab.
They did what?
Began to commit whoredoms with the daughters of Moab.
So they had tried numerous ways to get the children of Israel to mess up, but none of it worked until they got to what? Till they got to the women. This is the only thing that got them. Read.
And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods. And the people did eat and bowed down to their gods.
He said the people did eat and bowed down to their gods. Go ahead.
And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor.
Unto who?
Baal Peor.
Baal Peor comes from the Hebrew word 1187. It says, Lord of the gaps. Or if you go into it more, it says, Lord of the openings. And it'll say something like, open wide. What do y'all think that means?
You said it is something sick.
Yes, spirit.
Is it the hell? Is it that parable saying hell has enlarged itself? Talking about Satan.
So, again, it's being promoted everywhere. So it's a song that says, eat the groceries, eat the jeans like groceries. Again, it's being promoted widely.
This was like, portion of sex.
Perversion at its highest. So again, it's all over everything. Just watch it, and you'll see your people talking about they into this now. They doing it. Read that again, verse 3.
And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor, and the anger of Yahuwah was kindled against Israel.
So now that they done this, it says, and now Yah's anger is kindled against them. Read.
And Yahuwah said unto Moses, take all the heads of the people, and hang them up before Yahuwah against the sun, and the fierce anger of Yahuwah may be turned away from Israel. And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, slay you every one, his men that were joined unto Baal Peor. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moshe, and in the sight of all the congregation of Israel, who were weeping before the tabernacle of the congregation. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aharon the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand. And he went after the man of Israel into the tent, and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her belly, so that the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. And those that died in the plague were 24,000.
How many?
24,000.
24,000 people lost their lives because they couldn't control their flesh. Other stuff that he came with couldn't get him. But this right here, the minute he brought them women out, they fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. 24,000. That's a big dent, right? In one night, 24,000 people died because they couldn't control their vessels. They went along with it. They followed the crowd. It's fun. Everybody do it. All right? This is why y'all tell you to pray. Matthew chapter 6, verse 9.
Matthew, or Matityahu, chapter 6, at verse 9. After this manner, therefore pray you, Our Father, which art in Shamaim, hallowed be your name, your kingdom come.
A lot of us don't even really pay attention to what we're saying when we're saying this. It's just something that you're reciting, like the Hebrew prayer. You're just saying it. Hallelujah, Shabbat Shemayim, Mikadosh, Semka. You're just saying it. You don't even really know what you're saying when you're saying it. You should actually look at what you're saying. Read.
After this manner, therefore pray you, Our Father, which art in Shamaim, hallowed be your name, your kingdom come, your will be done.
Whose will?
Your will be done.
My flesh's will.
Your will be done.
Read.
In earth, as it is in Shamaim. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but lead us not into temptation.
Into what?
To temptation.
Into temptations. Say, don't lead us not into temptations. So the temptations is all around you. Everywhere you go is there. And it's become even easier to fulfill it these days. That which used to be sacred is nothing no more. Ain't nothing no more. It used to be when we was younger, it was like, what the hell, it was a rule, like so many months or something with the woman. They would have like a 90-day, 3-month rule or something like this. Now, this is what? A 90-day rule. We got friends with benefits and all types of stuff going on. Right?
Sister that I work with said, I'm a Sagittarius. I know y'all ain't think I was gonna wait that long. She said it's openly at work.
See? So since she's a Sagittarius, that means I don't wait.
That's what she said.
I'm gonna get it how I live. YOLO. All of this stuff is out there.
Earned in your lust.
So now it ain't even hidden no more. It's in the open. Women are openly talking about what they do. Openly putting this stuff out here. Dear future husband, I be twerking in the shower every night thinking about you. Right? Don't you know there's a visual that go along with when she say that? Right? So So we know this post gets 1,000 likes. Right? Where was you at?
Verse 10.
Read that again.
Verse 9. Verse 10. Your kingdom come, your will be done in earth as it is in Shamaim. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation.
Into what?
Into temptation.
Into temptation. That's again, it's a show coming out called Temptation Island. Temptation Island, where I've got to see if me and my girl are strong enough. We're going to go in there and I'm going to let her see if she can withstand all of those guys. And I'm going to see if I can withstand all of these women. And we're going to do all type of stuff on here. And if we make it through, then we can get married. What? But again, this is what TV is promoting. Temptation Island. Right here he says to deliver us from this. To lead us not into temptation. Why would you put yourself in it? Finish that out.
Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, and the power, and the esteem forever. So be it.
So this is why he say this in this prayer. So again, they couldn't get him through this. But the enemy knows something about men that most men don't even realize about themselves. Go back, Numbers 31, verse 15. And the whole idea is to keep this in your mind all day long. They say about a teenage boy that sex is on his mind every so many seconds. Right? Like at least every minute, so many seconds, his mind is on this. Read.
Numbers 31:15. And Moshe said unto them, have you saved all the women alive? Behold, these caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam to commit trespass against Yahuwah in the matter of Peor.
So who caused them to do it? The women did it. So have you saved all of them alive? These caused the children of Israel to commit fornication and to do these things. Revelations 2:20. Remember, their philosophy of the world is sex sells. So we're going to put it and exploit it everywhere to make your flesh even weaker than it already is. Revelation chapter 2, verse 20.
Revelation chapter 2 at verse 20. Notwithstanding, I have a few things against you, because you suffered that woman Jezebel, which called herself a prophetess, to teach and to seduce my servants to commit fornication and to eat things sacrificed unto idols. I gave her a space to repent of her fornication, and she repented not. Behold, I will cast her into a bed, and them that commit adultery with her into great tribulation, except they repent of their deeds.
Except they do what?
Repent of their deeds.
Go ahead.
I will kill her children with death. Good grief.
I will kill them with death. How do you do that?
That's crazy.
I'm going to kill your children with death. That's too... Read on.
He says,
23.
I will kill your children with death, and all the churches shall know that I am he which search the reins and the heart.
Do what?
I am he that searched the reins and the hearts,
He says, I am he that searches the reins and the hearts. Go ahead.
and I will give unto every one of you according to your works.
According to whose work?
Your works.
So according to your work. So Yah gonna come through and search your heart and see what's there. Jeremiah 17:10.
Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 10. I, Yahuwah, search the hearts. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways, and according to the fruit of his doing.
To the what?
To the fruit of his doing.
Saying the same thing that Revelations just said. The fact of the matter is, most men are weak to women. Let me say it again. Most men are weak to women. This means that you shouldn't help this thing along. We about to see this. Let's get 1 Timothy 2:9.
First Timothy chapter 2, verse 9. In like manner also, the women adorn themselves in modest apparel.
What kind of apparel?
Modest apparel.
Tight, form-fitting, everything is showing apparel.
In modest apparel.
One more time.
In like manner also, the women adorn themselves in modest apparel.
Go ahead.
With shamefacedness.
No, loud and obnoxious, talking so everybody can hear you on the phone.
With shamefacedness.
Shamefaced it. Mean to be bashful, not to be loud. Read.
And sobriety. Not with broidered hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array.
Or costly array. Don't mean you can't dress nice, but it's got to be modest. About to see something. No stretch pants? No, that's not modest. Your body, it should be a mystery to the world.
No heart attack.
Only your, we don't see that. Only your husband supposed to know. It's supposed to be a mystery. Not for nobody else to know, to see. We're going to see it. Genesis chapter 3, verse 7.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 7. And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked.
They were what?
They were naked.
Go ahead.
And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons.
They made themselves aprons. What do you think they covered? Specifically. So they covered that up, right? Was they really covered? It wasn't. So this says aprons right here. This is H2290. It says a girdle or belt, girdle, loin covering. So they actually just covered up those places which quote unquote bikini cover up. But that wasn't actually good enough. So let's see what Yah did. Jump down to verse 21.
Verse 21. And Adam also, and to his wife, did Yahuwah Elohim make coats of skins and clothe them.
So they thought that they was covered up when they put something over those areas. But y'all was showing them you not covered. What you thinking is private is really not just those areas. All of this is private. So when he says this coats of skins, it's H3801, it says a tunic, undergarment, a long shirt like garment. A long shirt like garment. This meaning stuff is covered up. The shape is not being seen as well. So when Yah covered you up, stuff was hidden. So only Adam is supposed to know what she looked like. Nobody else. Right? So let's see an example. Genesis 38:14. So you'll say, I'm covered up. I got on stuff. I don't got no skin out. Genesis 38:14.
Y'all taking it too far. Y'all better taking it too far. Genesis 38:14. And she put her widow's garments off from her.
She did what?
Put her widow's garments off from her.
So she purposely took something off, widow's garments, read.
And covered her with a veil and wrapped herself.
She did what?
Wrapped herself.
So if you were to wrap your body, what would it show? If you wrap something,
It's going to show
you're
the
going to
shape.
show your shape. It's going to reveal your shape. After all, she's trying to get Judah to do something, right? She's trying to get him to sleep with her. Read.
And wrapped herself and sat in an open place, which is by the way of Timnah. But she saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given unto him the wife. When Yehuda saw her, he thought her to be a harlot, because she had covered her face.
So she just wrapped herself in this thing to reveal the form, and now Judah, and she got her face covered, he goes into her because he thinks she's an harlot. So she's showing her form, right? We're going to see some in a minute. Matthew chapter 5, verse 27. And this is really, really for a married woman. It's for both, for all, but it's really, really, really for a married woman.
Matthew 5:27. You have heard that it was said by them of old time that you should not commit adultery. But I say unto you that whosoever look on a woman to lust after her,
To do what?
to lust after her,
Has done what?
hath committed adultery,
He has did what?
hath committed adultery,
He has committed adultery. So if you wear them yoga pants or them leggings out in public and you married and you cause those men to lust after you, you helping this along. And when you go to the gym with your dumb pants and stuff on, and the only exercise you work on is squats and every butt exercise, and you on that machine bending over, what do you think you're causing? Especially if you were married.
But them men nasty though.
These men just thirsty. No, you selling water.
Say you selling water.
They so thirsty in here. No, you selling water. That's why. get on the machine and put your butt up in the air and do your, come on now, you know what you're doing?
And film.
So if a man is responsible for looking at it, don't you think you got some responsibility in it to play your part? Because if you was modest, it wouldn't even do it. Read that again.
But I say unto you, that whosoever look on a woman to lust after her, hath committed adultery with her already in his heart. And if your right eye offend you, pluck it out.
Do what?
Pluck it out.
Pluck it out. So we know dudes ain't gonna pluck their eye out. So if this thing, whatever it is that caused you to sin, stop it. You ain't gonna pluck your eye out. But this how serious it is that he telling you to do this. So again, if you are wearing this stuff and you causing men to look after you in this way, you got a role in this. I know I can wear whatever I want to wear, and he can. Okay. He told you how to dress modestly. So remember, it's man's greatest weakness. I don't care how much weight the man can lift. If he don't keep Yah in his heart, in his mind, he can fall to it. Let's get Judges 15. Judges 15, verse 14.
Judges chapter 15, verse 14. And when he came unto Lehi, the Philistines shouted against him, and the Ruach of Yahuwah came mightily upon him, and the cords that were upon his arms became as flax.
This is Samson. Read.
That was burnt with fire, and his bands loose from off his hands. And he found a new jawbone of a donkey, and put forth his hand, and took it, and slew 1,000 men therewith.
How many?
1,000 men.
So Samson just beat 1,000 men by himself. The strongest man. Samson just beat 1,000 men. What couldn't he beat? Judges 16 and 4.
No, he wasn't supposed to beat this shit. Judges chapter 16, verse 4.
This is how much of a stumbling block it is for men. This is how great it is. This is how easy it is to cause that man to do this, which he's still supposed to be able to possess his vessel. Read.
And it came to pass afterwards that he loved the woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah.
The name was what?
Delilah.
What does Delilah mean? It means feeble. So Delilah took the strongest man ever and made him feeble. What they used to say about our people as slaves, oh, they're weak and feeble. She made him feeble. Strongest man that just whooped 1,000 dudes by himself is being reduced to nothing by one woman. Read.
And the lords of the Philistines came up unto her and said unto her, hey, entice her. Beware strength lie, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him, and we will give you every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver.
She about to get paid like she didn't hit the lotto. Read.
And Delilah said to Samson, tell me, I pray you, wherein your great strength lie, and wherewith you might be bound to afflict you.
She told him straight out why I want to know this. Right? What the song say? Everybody plays the
Food.
Food, right? So when you read this, don't look at him like he a fool, because you did it. When everybody else knew that I told you that no good nigga wasn't nothing, right? Everybody else knew it, but you. So when you reading this, don't, oh, how can he do that? How can he be so? You did it. Read.
And Samson said unto her, if they bind me with 7 green whips and never dry, then shall I be weak and be as other men.
Just toying with it now. Read.
The lords of the Philistines brought up to her 7 green whips, which had not been dried, and she bound them with them.
Came right up and did it. Verse 10.
And Delilah said unto Samson, behold, you mocked me, told me lie. Now tell me, I pray you, wherewith you might be bound.
Tell me how to kill you. Right? Tell me the way that I can kill you. Right? So when you was dating that girl back in the day, you say, would you bring me a corned beef from that Coney Island on 7 Mile where all them people get killed at 3 o'clock in the morning? You want me to go to that one? They make the best one. They make the best ones. Hey, man. All right, go get this girl a corned beef. Knowing you're not supposed to do it when you just this stupid. Knowing, because I know we all did the stupid stuff. Yeah, they make the best ones in there. I don't like the ones in this. I don't like them out in Royal Oak. It's too safe out there. Right?
Slave to your own lust.
Read verse 10 up.
And Delilah said unto Samson, behold, you have mocked me, you told me lies. Now tell me, I pray you, wherewith you might be bound. And he said unto her, if they bind me fast with new ropes that never were occupied, then shall I be weak as another man.
Go ahead. Go ahead. As soon as he tell him, she come with the new ropes to tie it. And he still don't see it. Read.
Delilah therefore took new ropes and bound them therewith and said unto him, the Philistines be upon you. The Philistines be upon you, Samson. And there were liars in wait abiding in the chamber. And he brake them off his arms like a thread. And Delilah said unto Samson, hitherto you have mocked me and told me lies. Tell me wherewith you might be bound. And he said unto her, if you weave the 7 locks of my head with the web.
Come right back with another one. So the guy do the stupid stuff. He'd go to the most dangerous place to get this woman a sandwich that he know ain't no good. The women on the other side, babe, how much you getting back for your taxes? You get 5,000? Give me 3 of them. I'm gonna flip it.
Oh, man.
You already know better.
Everybody plays.
You already know you know better. Just like he doing right here, making a fool of himself. We did it. Yeah, basically he gonna flip my tax money. You know, we gonna be like this by next year. Everything, no, your money is gone. Your money is gone. He's standing behind a red rope with your money. We going?
And she fastened it with pins and said unto him, the Philistines be upon you, Samson. And he awaked out of his sleep and went away with the pin of the beam and with the web. And she said unto him, how can you say I love you when your heart ain't with me? You done mocked me these 3 times and has not told me wherein your strength lies. And it came to pass, she pressed him daily.
She did what?
She pressed him daily.
He know that she trying to kill him, but he loved her that much. Read.
She pressed him daily with her words and urged him so that his soul was vexed unto death.
She finally got in. Read.
That he told her all his heart and said unto her, there have not come a razor upon my head. For I have been a Nazarite unto Elohim from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me.
Now he just gave up the secret. Strongest man whooped up 1,000 men. Whooped up a bunch of men on several occasions. But he's been made feeble to one woman. Which he wasn't just weak to her, he was weak to all of them. So, no matter how much wisdom you got, if you don't keep Yah in your heart, in your soul, and meditate on this thing day and night, you can get got. Let's go to Deuteronomy 17. Verse 14.
Deuteronomy 17, verse 14. When you are come unto the land which Yahuwah your Elohim give you, and shall possess it, and shall dwell therein, and shall say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me. You shall in any wise set him king over you.
What is this about? A king. Go ahead.
Whom Yahuwah your Elohim shall choose. Run from among your brethren, that you set king over you. You may not set a stranger over you, which is not your brother.
Go ahead.
But he shall not multiply horses to himself.
He shall do what?
Not multiply horses to himself.
He shall not multiply horses. Read.
Nor cause the people to return to Egypt.
Go ahead.
To the end that he should multiply horses. For as much as Yahuwah hath said unto you, you shall henceforth return no more that way. Neither shall he multiply wives to himself.
He shall not do what?
Multiply wives to himself.
So for the order of the king is not to multiply wives to himself. Read.
That his heart turn not away. Neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold. And it shall be when he sitteth up upon the throne of his kingdom, that he shall write him a copy of this law in a book.
So all the kings had the right what?
The law.
Had to write the law. This means you know it. Right? Everybody had to write this. Read.
Write him a copy of this law in the book out of that which is before the priests of the Levites.
So you had to write the law. 1 Kings chapter 3, verse 7. First Kings chapter 3, verse 7.
1 Kings chapter 3 at verse 7. And now, O Yahuwah my Elohim, you have made your servant king instead of David my father. And I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in. And your servant is in the midst of your people, which you have chosen, a great people that cannot be numbered nor counted for multitude. Give therefore your servant an understanding heart to judge your people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this so great a people? And the speech pleased Yahuwah, that Solomon had asked this thing. And Elohim said unto him, because you have asked this thing, and have not asked for yourself long life, neither asked riches for yourself, nor have asked the life of your enemies, but have asked for yourself understanding to discern judgment. Behold, I have done according to your words. Lo, I have given you a wise and understanding heart, so that there was none like you before you, neither after you shall any arise like unto you.
So Solomon asked for what? Wisdom, right? So he's the most wisest man ever, right? Just like Samson was the strongest man, he's going to be taken into a dummy. 1 Kings 11:1. What did the book of the law say he shall not do? Multiply wives to himself. 1 Kings 11:1.
1 Kings 11:1. But King Solomon loved many strange women.
He did what?
He loved many strange women,
Go ahead.
together with the daughters of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, Hittites, and of the nations concerning which Yahuwah said unto the children of Israel, you shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you.
So his wisdom got him where?
Nope.
He didn't keep Yah first. Right. Exactly. So now he don't possess his vessel because he didn't got snared. His flesh that got him snared. Proverbs 22:14.
Proverbs chapter 22, verse 14. The mouth of strange women is a deep pit. He that is abhorred of Yahuwah shall fall therein.
Read that one more time.
The mouth of strange women is a deep pit. He that is abhorred of Yahuwah shall fall therein.
So again, this is why this stuff is being promoted all around you. Nothing but filth, nothing but sexual stuff is promoted everywhere you turn, everywhere you look, to cause you to go into this, because he knows that this is man's great weakness. Proverbs 23:33.
Proverbs 23:33. Your eyes shall behold strange women, and your heart shall utter perverse things.
It shall do what?
Your eyes shall behold strange women, and your heart shall utter perverse things.
And your heart utters it. Remember, he says, I try the reins of the heart. So if you got your eyes on that strange woman and that's in there, that means he's gonna get you. He gotta put you in the fire. Why he said, pluck it out. If it caused you to do this. No matter how righteous, you don't keep Yah in there, he can get you. 1 Samuel 13, verse 14.
First Samuel chapter 13 at verse 14. But now your kingdom shall not continue. Yahuwah hath sought him a man after his own heart.
Talking to Saul. Go ahead.
And Yahuwah hath commanded him to be a captain over his people.
Read that from the top again.
Verse 14. But now your kingdom shall not continue. Yahuwah hath sought him a man after his own heart.
After what?
After his own heart.
It says Yahuwah have sought him a man after his own heart. Who is this man that he's talking about? David, right? So it lets you know David had a heart after Yah. This means David was that guy. And no matter if you the guy, if you don't keep Yah there, this is why it's imperative that women don't aid the thing alone and help it out. It's already a stumbling block. We can see some of the greatest men in this book have failed to this. That you don't aid it and help it out. So David had a heart after Yah. It means, his name means beloved. 2 Samuel 11, verse 1.
2 Samuel chapter 11 at verse 1. And it came to pass after the years were expired, at the time when kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him, and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon, and besieged Rabbah. But David tarried still at Jerusalem. And it came to pass in an evening tide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself.
He did what?
He saw a woman washing herself.
If any man looks upon a woman to lust after her, he hath committed adultery in his heart. Read that again.
And he arose, and I'll read it from the top. And it came to pass in an evening tide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself. And the woman was very beautiful to look upon.
Is it in the side here? One moment. All right, it's on. All right. Read that verse again.
Verse 2. And it came to pass in an evening tide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself.
So this is why Mashiach was saying what he said in that Matthew joint. If a man looks on a woman to lust after her, he hath committed adultery in his heart already. This is why, again, if you were married and you put this stuff on and you cause that man to do this, you have a responsibility in this as well. Read on.
And the woman was very beautiful to look upon. And David sent and inquired after the woman. And one said, is not that Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite?
The what?
The wife of Uriah the Hittite?
Common sense is righteousness already. As soon as they said right? He can't control his vessel now. Can't control his vessel now. He's gonna do what the flesh is seeking, even though he know better. He know not to do it. And this is a man after Yah's own heart. Read.
David sent messengers and took her, and she came in unto him, and he lay with her. But she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned unto her house. And the woman conceived, and sent and told David, and said, I am with child.
I am with what?
I am with child.
Now, all of these things that the fruit after the flesh came from this. Everything that the whole thing about the fruit of the flesh, David did it from doing this. And he knew better. Again, this is why he says, deliver us from temptation. Lead us not into temptation. Because it's a slippery slope. Proverbs 5:20.
Proverbs chapter 5, verse 20.
Proverbs chapter 5 at verse 20. And why will you, my son, be ravished with a strange woman and embrace the bosom of a stranger? For the ways of man are before the eyes of Yahuwah, and he ponder all his goings.
He do what?
He ponder all his goings.
So he said, read that from the top again.
For the ways of man are before the eyes of Yahuwah.
No, the verse before.
I'm sorry, verse 20. And why will you, my son, be ravished with a strange woman and embrace the bosom of a stranger? For the ways of man are before the eyes of Yahuwah, and he ponder all his goings.
So we see it all. Jump back to verse 3.
Verse 3. For the lips of a strange woman drop as an honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil.
That's what Delilah was doing with Samson. He knew better, couldn't resist it. Proverbs 7 and 5. Go ahead, read it.
It says, but her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword.
Proverbs 7 and 5.
Proverbs 7, verse 5. They that keep them from the strange women, from a stranger which flattereth with her words.
Which do what?
Flattereth with her words.
Which she flatters with her words. It's the same thing that they was with Delilah was doing with Samson. And he knew better. Couldn't overcome it. 1 Peter. This is why these verses are here. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 2.
1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 2. While they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear, whose adorning, let it not be that outward adorning.
The what?
Let it not be that outward adorning.
Not with the outward adorning, read.
Of plaiting the hair, and of wearing of gold, or of putting on of apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart.
Of the what?
Of the heart.
Because he searches the heart, read.
In that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of the meek and quiet ruach, which is in the sight of Elohim of great price.
A what?
A great price.
A great price. So this is a great thing. So this is why, again, don't aid it. It's already enough of the smut and this filth that's plastered all over TV, all over the billboards, all through the grocery stores for a man to overcome in the first place. And it's super easy. So be a helpmeet, not a weak meat, to cause them to be weak. Numbers 15:38. Everybody know this. So my ox, when you know that you about to do something wrong, look down. Read.
Numbers chapter 15, verse 38. Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. And it shall be unto you a fringe, that you may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of Yahuwah, and do them.
This was supposed to be a reminder that when you about to get ready to do something and go off, that you look down and say, wow, I know this ain't right. I know this ain't right what I'm about to do. It's supposed to remind you of to keep this. Read that one more time.
And it shall be unto you a fringe, that you may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of Yahuwah, and do them, that you seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which you use to go a-whoring.
To do what?
To go a-whoring.
So this is supposed to keep you from it, detecting, getting close. Oh, wait, can't go that way. It's supposed to knock you away from it. Says your heart and your mind, because it all again starts in the mind. All right, Philippians 4 and 8. Philippians chapter 4, verse 8.
Philippians chapter 4, at verse 8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, Whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are good, are of good report. If there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things.
Do what?
Think on these things.
Think on these things, or think on the new show that's coming out, Temptation Island. Read that one more time.
Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are good or of good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things.
So any of these things that's good, think on these things. Again, the mind all starts there. Romans chapter 8, verse 7. Matter of fact, pick it up at verse 6.
Romans chapter 8, verse 6. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal mind is enmity against Elohim.
It is what?
It's enmity against Elohim.
It's the carnal mind. It's enmity. That's like Cain and Abel. Enmity. Read.
For it is not subject to the law of Elohim, neither indeed can be.
So it can't even be. Right? Give me Job chapter 31. This is the man, even if the women do got the stuff on, is bending over, is doing squats or whatever. Job 31. Let's see what Job said. Job 31:1.
Job 31:1. I made a covenant with my eyes.
He said he did what?
I made a covenant with my eyes.
Job said, I made a covenant with my eyes. Read.
Why then should I think upon a maid?
Why then should I what?
I think upon a maid.
So Job said, I made an agreement with my eyes. I ain't going to look regardless. That's like Mashiach saying, if your eye calls you to sin, pluck it out. But it's better to just make the covenant and don't look. But that's hard for the most people. For most men, it's almost impossible not to look. But Job said, I made a covenant with my eyes. Why should I look upon a maid? So again, we got to come out of the world, come out of all of the things that have caused you to go into these ways. Repent of it. Don't turn back. Ezekiel 18:21. And it's the same thing. Men shouldn't be coming out in no muscle shirts, walking around without no shirts on. Y'all covered that up as well.
Our brothers can't play shirt versus skins in the park.
No. He covered both of them up.
Right.
So if Israelite is on his profile, oiled up, doing this. You know it ain't right.
Because it ain't just the men that's getting enticed and drove away and they lust, it's the women too.
Exactly. So that men shouldn't have on these things as well. Y'all covered both of them up. Put something over both of their skins. Read.
Said
Ezekiel 18, verse 21.
Ezekiel 18:21. But if the wicked will turn from all his sins.
From what?
From all his sins.
Some of them.
all his sins,
the ones that nobody don't know about.
all his sins
Read.
that he hath committed, and keep all my statutes, and do that which is lawful and right, he shall surely live, he shall not die. All his transgressions that he hath committed, they shall not be mentioned unto him. His righteousness that he hath done, he shall live.
Go ahead.
Have I any pleasure at all that the wicked should die? Saith Yahuwah Elohim, and not that they should return from his ways and live? But when the righteous turn away from his righteousness and commit iniquity, and doeth according to all the abominations that the wicked man do, shall he live? All his righteousness that he hath done shall not be mentioned. And his trespass that he hath trespassed, and in his sin that he hath sinned, and then shall he die. Yet you say, the way of Yahuwah is not equal. Hear now, O house of Israel. Is not my way equal?
It's not what?
Is not my way equal?
So Yah will let you do these things, but once you repent, he'll act like it ain't never happened. But what does repent mean?
Turn away from it. Don't go
Turn
back
away
into
from it, or do that mean I can do the double dutch with it? Back in and back out. Back in and back out.
It's been a year since I did that one. So, straight. Once. That's a fact.
Exactly.
That's a fact.
So it's not to keep going back and forth, doing it over and over and over again. The reason I noticed, I done a little thing last night with a post. I asked people they stumbling block. And a lot of people was embarrassed to say it on the post, but they hit me in the inbox and told me, yeah, bro, it's women. Yeah, it's the flesh, bro. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They didn't want to say it on there. A lot of people came on there. A lot of people said that they was into
lascivious behavior.
those acts. It's children in here, so.
Lascivious, if you know what lasciviousness is.
It's an umbrella term.
Right? So it actually goes both ways. So I actually noticed that women are way worse than men. No, it might be, but they are. They're way worse than men. It's terrible, but it is. It's a fact. I wish I could show y'all some other posts. They're not hiding no more.
It's out in the open,
It's in the open.
Sad too, man.
Out in the open. It's all there. Again, because of this pride. Now it's, if a man can do this, then I can do it. What make, see, that's sexist. That Bible sexist. It say that men can do this, but why can't a woman do it? Well, that's something you will have to take up with Yah. So Yah will let you repent from these things, but again, repent don't mean back and forth. I keep falling to it. I keep relapsing to it. It got me again, man. You know, I thought I was strong enough, and I ended up going to the Piggly Wiggly, and it got me again. No, you knew not to go in the first place. All right? So I believe that this is the strongest hold. This is the one that a whole bunch of people is still fighting to overcome. They just won't say it out in the open to everybody. But they are giving into it daily. This is why so many marriages that shouldn't be. All right? Because they gave into the fleshly lust, couldn't contain their vessels, went and done something that they knew they shouldn't have done, got hot and heavy, and now it's a baby. I'm pregnant. What am I supposed to do? All right. So all my sisters in here, if a guy is trying to lay with you, listen to me close. If he is trying to lay with you, if he is not willing to say that you're going to be my wife, don't do it. Do not do it. Because if you do it afterwards, it's too late. Now all this guilt gonna be all over you because you knew that you did something that you weren't supposed to do in the first place. So if he's courting you and you say, well, in order for you to do this, then we gotta be married. When you say that, and he get to beating them feet, you know what he was trying to do. So if he ain't willing to make you his wife, do not do it. Control your vessel. And with that, you say shalom.
Questions in here? All right, we're gonna hit the questions on the chat.
I had learned my lesson in my younger days. I know a lot of people don't understand my life age. Oh yeah, you live a lonely life. But I rather be lonely and obedient than to get the crowd and be disobedient. To be honest.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, I almost died. And down, like when he told me to go to the doctor, and I went to the doctor. Now that I'm very, he did pass it up. Right? And the most I showed me every step of my disobedience, like how it led up to that. And so I was like, wow. And I was living with him. Oh, my years ago. When it came to Friday, because the doctor told me that I would be dead Friday. So now we did Friday. I told him, made him a promise to tell him that I would live for him for the rest of my days on earth because it's not worth it. What I went through and the phase that I went through, I had to get treated away. For somebody to take care of me. Really, it hurt me. Sometimes I feel like it's very bad. Anybody, it's not worth it. It is not worth it. If you marry, stay married, if you think don't, you know what I'm saying? Wait till you bring your spouse. You know? I was married. I like being married. But if he don't, my husband is working, but if he doesn't bring me one, I'm not going to do it. For myself, what I know he knows is best for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes we think we know better for ourselves. That's a scary thing too. You can easily make the wrong mistake. You know what I'm saying? And it will cost you a lot. It costs you, even being there for the wrong person, cost me a lot. Because he wasn't equally go. He said yes, I said no. He goes, no, I go right. So I said, when he comes and says, I can marry you, he said, I want to marry you. I said, you know what, you better I'm right. You can't marry each other. You know, you don't agree for anything. Nothing. So I learned my lesson from that. And I probably do live a born around with people, but I love serving God with my whole heart.
Absolutely.
I appreciate the lesson.
Great job. Absolutely. Trying to mix that light and dark, and we know it don't mix. Oh, but she do this and she do this. We gonna make it work. oh, I can change him. Once I do this, no, you're not. It ain't gonna work.
Like he did that lesson that last time on the marriage and divorce thing. Like, just piggybacking off of what you were saying. A lot of times we rush it. You know what I'm saying? We jump into stuff with the smoking gun, and then you realize afterwards, like, damn, this ain't beneficial. This detrimental. You know what I'm saying? Because we not allowing y'all to put us together. We doing it. You know what I'm saying? So now you get into this marriage, and now you go off lusting and whoring after other people because it's wasn't what you were satisfied with in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
So looking at that stuff on Facebook, look, goals. Look, they happy. They eating cupcakes like this in the picture. Right? This is not real. They fighting. As soon as they took the picture, they start fighting. It's fake. But we believe all of this stuff. It's not real. It's not real. What we got on there?
For some reason, the top half of the chat is not pulling up. For some reason, I seen a question up there that said, "Does the Most High?" It was something along the lines of, "Does the Most High not like when we borrow from people?" I think he was asking because of he said we're gonna be lenders and not the borrowers, and then I think that's Romans where it says, "Oh no man anything." He's asking, are we supposed to borrow stuff or borrow money from people? Statue of Lord and children.
What? Right, that's what I'm saying.
Nah, because remember, it said if somebody asks you to do something, you're supposed to pay it back. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying
What about that? You mean like the fountain and this water and this water?
Exodus 22 and 14.
James 22:14. James.
Exodus 22. Usury. Exodus 22:14. It says, if a man borrow aught of his neighbor, and if he be hurt or die, or the owner thereof being not, he shall surely make it good. But if the owner thereof be with it, he shall not make it good. If it be a higher thing, it comes from his hire. That's one. It's another one that says, basically that you, hold on, what's the Deuteronomy what? That's another one. Yeah, okay.
That's it right there. That's it right there.
It was more so speaking about other nations, but you can borrow from your neighbor.
Well, I guess you can't really see the question, but if it's talking about borrowing from your brother, yes, you can borrow from your brother, and he's not supposed to charge you interest.
Right. It says, if you lend money to any of my people that is poor, by you shall not be to him a usurer, neither shall you lay upon him usury. So if you lend money to your brother, if you pay it back, you can't add no interest on it. Yeah. So that's that. I said, if there was other questions up there, I can't really see them. So if you had one that was before 4:12, you might want to repost it. Because I agree, women lust too. However, men tend to be more visually stimulated than women. I agree. We got a lot more to look at. May you speak a little about Matthew 19 and 9. What about Matthew 19 and 9?
Man, that's somebody asked about that. They were dealing with me on that this morning. You had commented about you. What is the force? I said, I'm like, wow, brother. Yeah, I said, we're talking about. That's what I said.
Two different things.
What's a good strategic plan to have for men along with scripture to overcome these things? Joshua chapter 1, 7 and 8.
Absolutely. The more your mind is on this word and understanding it, the less time you got to deal with the folly of the world. Like I told you, it's all around you. Everywhere you turn, everywhere you look is there. It's a trap to get you ensnared.
Somebody put Matthew 19 and 9 again.
What about it?
What about Matthew 19 and 9? No medium shirts for those skinny jeans. No medium shirts for those skinny jeans, gentlemen.
We agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Said no gray sweats out of the house.
No gray sweats out of the house. Let me kill me with that.
It says, I hope sometimes you guys in the near future address the issue of feminism and how there's an attack on men and how they look to feminize and emasculate men.
Absolutely, we agree.
It's getting real. Yes, it's okay to borrow money from your brother.
They could let me hold something.
What is your position on women wearing pants and women keeping their hair covered? Some seem to think that pants are too revealing and hair needs to be covered all the time.
Well, we don't. The covering of the hair, that's more of a custom. And the pants, definitely, if they are revealing, then definitely not a good look.
Didn't the Most High tell Israel to borrow from his neighbor? Yes, you can borrow from your brother. The goal is to actually pay it back. Don't be somebody that's going to borrow something and keep it. Pay it back.
And for him not to use usury or charge you interest.
Oh, it says, my question was on the top half of the chat, right? It says, but did Israel break the Sabbath when marching around Jericho in Joshua 6?
No. Let's go there. That's Joshua chapter 6, right?
Yep.
Pick it up from verse 1.
It says, now Jericho was straitly shut up because of the children of Israel. Hold it down, y'all, real quick. None went out and none came in. And Yahuwah said unto Joshua, see, I have given into your hand Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor. And you shall compass the city, all you men of war, and go round about the city once. Thus shall you do 6 days.
How many days?
6 days.
Go ahead.
7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of ram's horns.
Notice who is out here going to do this. It's the priest, right? Read.
7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of ram's horns. And the 7th day you shall compass the city 7 times, and the priest shall blow with the trumpets.
What day is this they're going to do it on?
7.
The 7th day. Does this mean that this is the Sabbath?
Nope.
This says the 7th day. It could be the 7th day from what? It's just like when he says, and on the 3rd day that you shall rise. Does that mean that it was quote unquote Wednesday? No, it means the 7th day from when they started. It doesn't mean that they started this on quote unquote Sunday and then ended this on the Shabbat. It means the 7th day of them marching. So we got to find out who is doing this. Read.
And 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of ram's horn. And 7 days shall you shall compass the city 7 times, and the priest shall blow with trumpets.
So the people that use the lunar Sabbath thing, this is one of the verses that they like to come to and pull to say that, see, the Sabbath can't be like this because they walked around and did this on the Sabbath. Lets you know it couldn't be the Sabbath. Don't even necessarily mean it was the 7th day. Just the 7th day from when they started the march. Read.
And it come to pass, when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when you hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout with a great shout, and the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall ascend up, every man straight before him. And Joshua the son of Nun called the priest.
Who?
The priest.
Go ahead.
And said to them, take up the ark of the covenant, and let 7 priests bear 7 trumpets of the ram's horns before the ark of Yahuwah.
Go ahead.
And he said unto the people, pass on and compass the city, and let him that is armed pass on before the ark of Yahuwah. And it came to pass, when Joshua had spoken unto the people, that the 7 priests bearing the 7 trumpets of ram's horns passed on before Yahuwah and blew the trumpets, and the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah had followed them. And the armed men went before the priests that blew with the trumpets, and the rearward came after the ark, the priests going on and blowing with trumpets.
So it's only 2 different people out here. It's the men of war and it's the priest. And they're not getting paid for this, even if it actually was the Shabbat. So it's not the everybody that's doing this. It's only the warriors and the priests who are walking around this thing doing this on the 7th day, not necessarily the Shabbat day. So no, they're not in violation of Shabbat. The priests do work every Shabbat, according to the book.
Okay. We got one that says, if you fall from this sin, can you come back? Or if you have a slip up, can you come back from a slip up? Yes. He says that a living dog is better than a dead lion. So there is hope, but you got to make sure that you turn it around from it. A slip up is a slip up, but a fall is a fall. So you slip up, there's hope.
But I hate to even say it because people try to use it as a loophole to do it and to say I made a mistake.
Yeah.
Get that Hebrews 10:26.
Yes, sir. Hebrews chapter 10. Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 26. For if you sin willfully,
Do what?
for if you sin willfully,
Go ahead.
after that you have received the knowledge of the truth, there remain no more sacrifice for sin.
You mean what?
No more sacrifice for sin.
So, like you said, it's one thing that's a slip up, but people can't try to use this as a loophole, because then you're going to fall into this, which is the scary verse.
Says 1 Corinthians 7:36. What does that mean? What does 1 Corinthians 7:36 mean?
That he behaved himself in comedy to what he did, he sinned not. Yes, I remember. He said, verse
36.
this I speak to you, not that I will cast a sin on you, but that which is common, and that you may attain upon the will without distraction. For if any man thinks that he behaved himself uncommonly toward his virgin, if she pass the flower of her age, and he so quiet, let him do what he will, he sinneth not. Let them marry. Sounds just what it says. Anyway.
That's 1 Corinthians 7.
36 or 26?
36.
I gotta say 26.
You got this virgin. She has the flower of her age. Marry. You don't go down. So it's better to read it from a different. If a man thinks he is not behaving properly toward his virgin, and which his passion is so strong that he feels he ought to marry him, let him do what he wants. If he isn't sinning, let him get married. Whoever asked that one, hit me up. Of course.
So with my and our cousin, my father had to give away our daughter at that time. So he heard me give her away at that time. But if you already married, walking, you go.
They said if she's past that.
Right, so that's the possible give her away at that time.
I mean, well, This is saying if it's done before.
So if you did the pop did what before you
Then after that,
I'm saying you gotta wait. You got you get wife, you gotta wait. You gotta wait.
we'll talk about it. It's touchy subject, man. Touchy subject, man. Get up, Quad.
Only that person I asked, man.
Okay. Signature lady. Hit up Quad. All right. I would like to see a lesson on women covering their hair. All right. It says. That's it. That's
Oh, this is
ask about Matthew 19:9 because many people didn't say that.
All right, so this one says, I asked about Matthew 19:9 is because many people are marrying after divorce. Many put away their partners and sin ignorantly. What is sound knowledge when a man or woman find out?
Or when they find out that this person is just put away.
okay. So we done a whole lesson on this a couple of weeks back. It's a big difference between putting away and divorce. Right? So Matthew 19:9, and I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication. So if you have a wife and your wife never committed fornication on you, and you put her away, you are in violation. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication. So if he put a woman away and she did not fornicate on him, go outside of the marriage in any way, and he go and marry somebody else, he is committing adultery. So we got a lot of this in Israel. A whole bunch of dudes and got mad at the woman and put her away. He didn't give her the bill of divorce. Not only is he causing her to be in adultery, when he marries somebody else, he is in adultery. And it said, and whosoever marries her, which is put away, do commit adultery. Now, again, for some reason, everybody think that putting away means divorce. It does not mean divorce. Whosoever marries her, which is put away, do commit adultery. Put away. Let's see if a woman can get married after she has been divorced, according to the law. Get me Deuteronomy 24. Deuteronomy 24.
Deuteronomy 24:1. When a man have taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he had found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house.
So he found some uncleanness in her. Right after this, he can send her out of his house, but when he do it, he must give her a what?
Bill of divorce.
A bill of divorce. This separates the ties from them. Read on. Now she's not tied to him anymore. Read.
When she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife.
Read it one more time, because this is the last time I'm going to address this. One more time.
When she is departed out of his house, when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife.
The law directly states she may go and be another man's wife.
Need that bill of divorce.
So if the man put that woman away and he don't give her the bill of divorce, that is still his wife.
You keep reading.
Her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. After that, she is defiled. But that is an abomination before Yahuwah. You shall not cause the land to sin where Yahuwah your Elohim give you for an inheritance.
So, like the Ak was saying in that lesson, you can't play the double dutch game. If you get rid of this person, if y'all call it quits, you go out and dibble and dabble, and you know what I'm saying, you get ready to marry somebody else, can't go back. So for the person that's, you said if a person finds out, right, that this person was put away, right, you can't be with that person till they get that proper paperwork to say, hey, we divorced. You can't be with them.
Or that person dies.
Or they die. So
this is why it's imperative to, and Adam knew his wife, to know who you're dealing with.
Yep. So don't play with the law, man. The law is the law. Gotta stop telling people that put away is divorce, because it say what it say. Got a couple more. Hey, what's your contact info for that question? All right, if a person, hold on, wait. Another question. How do you make it up to your spouse when you slip up?
That's really on you as an individual. And if that person is willing to put their pride down and accept it. Just know that we all messed up on Yah, right? So we all messed up on him. But it's on that person if they're gonna accept you back from that. They may forgive you and still say, I can't do this. So that's kind of an individual thing.
I think that is it. Oh, the joint about the pants and hair cover. Want to deal with that?
The hair wrap comes along with the modesty thing. So we know that it's hair is a big thing in the Black community. It's a very, very big thing. You can watch some of the women do their tutorials with the hair. And you can see as soon as the hair get on, their whole persona, their whole everything changes. Because hair is a big thing. So if she's married, then it's really no point in trying to do the hair in these seductive ways to entice somebody. Going to what you got.
This other one was that Deuteronomy 22. About the pants. So Deuteronomy 22 and 5, it says, the woman shall not wear that which pertain to a man, neither shall a man put on woman's garments, for all that do so are abomination unto Yahuwah.
Okay, so it says, the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, right? So this right here is actually pointing us to Deborah. So this, the woman shall not wear that which pertains unto a man. This man right here is 8:1397. It means Gibor, strong man, warrior. It's not the actual word for Adam, right? Or man in that sense. Let's go to that actual word. Genesis. Verse 26. And it says, Elohim said, let us make man. This is 8:62:13. This one is Asal, not the one we're looking for. So God created the man, verse 27, which is Adam, man, mankind. Right? So verse 27, it says, so Elohim created man, which is 8:120. This is the word for Adam or man right here. And when we go back to this in Deuteronomy 22:5, it says, the woman shall not wear that which pertains unto a man. This is a completely different word in the Hebrew, which is 8:1397. Again, it's Gibor. It's talking about a warrior, saying that a woman shall not wear that which is a warrior. That's why they couldn't go to war. Deborah was in the time of this when this is actually pointing to. It was not talking about wearing of a man. It's talking about wearing something of a warrior. When Yah put us in coverings, he put a big tunic on both of us. So neither was wearing quote unquote pants back in that time. All right.
You got to be modest though.
Yep, everything's supposed to be modest. That it?
I believe so. Yep, that's it.
All right.
All right, let's pray out. Hey, Trey. Oh, okay. You're about to do that.
Got special selection for the temptation.
Stop doing it.
You ain't gotta do it right now. Yeah, I know, but you gotta teach them, brother. You been peeping already? What you want me to say? Absolutely, she like that. That's fair. That's fair.
Shalom, family.
Shalom. Yes. Apparently, you about to do a song. Yeah.
Oh, watch out.
You just, okay. Let that brother be the mouthpiece. That's not wrong.
Family. I need y'all in this picture, brother. I need you to Oh, shoot. Shalom, family. Nathan.
Yeah, come on, brother.
Need all the family in here. We can't see you, brother. Slow, family, slow. All right, family. So what we got here is a special treat for the family. Brother Martin, we gave him a word a little while ago that we were going to perform a song for him that the Father has given to us. So all the songs we make are not from us. Ruach HaKodesh is from the Father himself. So it's basically a songs from Yah to Yah. So we just praising the Father. And we all make Script Gang. This is our manager right here for real. So manager Aki Trav. And we make up Script Gang. So throughout our Script Gang, throughout our songs, you're gonna hear us say T&W, which means the narrow way. You know, Script say the only way to Shemayim is through the narrow gate, narrow path. So we go by Script Gang T&W. And the name of our song, I don't even think we got a name of it yet, but we're gonna call it Praise Yah for this for right now. All right. We're gonna call it Praise Yah for right now. So with that being said, we gonna say not shalom, but just hold on one moment while we get situated.
All right, y'all. That music is actually gonna be coming soon. We've been working on some stuff. So y'all just stay tuned. Stay right. Oh, not on. Right on. We did. Just all right, but you don't like sitting there. You know what I'm saying? Your mama gave us the blueprint.
That's what I was trying to say.
I'm nothing. You know.
They still can't see us. We gotta get down here.
Oh no, I got y'all.
Oh, crazy. Hold on, y'all.
I gotta hold it though, cause it's gonna fall back. So I'm gonna hold it.
So the king. Script gang, hey, T&W, baby.
Just take the beats.
T&W, baby. No, we ain't straight. 7 days of the week, we just stay crazy. I'm a living nigga who should be my salvation. He gon' take the do it, that's why I say, hey, you know what honest gonna do it, no, that ain't right. We got on Shabbat, no complication. I just see the king first, so I'm just staying patient. The devil, he can't have myself, it's a please, I be steady ranking. And you know I keep the laws how to do, baby. You know, the laws you in LA, baby. But if you really know that he won't break me, I'm a Sunday, won't forsake me. I ain't locked up in the bed, here, yeah, thank you. Ain't ain't got to do it, so never sacrifice.
I had to change my life. I had to deal with fornication, had to deal with spite. On the way to the kingdom and eternal life. Ain't still an epidemic waiting on the wife. So thankful because I could have died for the change. With the favor, you know, we say for the late. Don't think I'm playing. My mission is to set the pace. TNW, that's all the face. I'm living scripture on me and see that like it's really on my head. Friends on me in the turkey. You really see the drip. And I'm really out the world. And it's just the way to see it. Y'all shine. It's like here, so I'm spreading love. The word of Philip is a link, and I see the Old Testament. I ain't talking past time. Need to hop off the world. Sun don't be coming with the rain. Today, but one day we gon' see those early days. I'm waiting on y'all to try to save the day. Make sure y'all get a good time. Every Shabbat. Hey, give me that bit of time to record his verse. That boy sounded like the dude Dex. That's so solid.
That's the thing, Big IQ.
Okay. Big IQ.
All right, y'all. Elmar, you got something for us? They did a great job. All right. All right, let's pray out.
You know what I'm saying? My eyes together.
All right, Brother Trey gonna pray us out today as well.
All praise.
All my clear.
Dear Heavenly Abba Yahuwah, Elohim of Abraham, Yishak, and Yaakov, your servants seek your face now humbly, Heavenly Abba Yahuwah, saying Todah Rabbah Yahuwah. Thank you so much, Yah, for allowing everybody who's here and everybody who's watching to be delivered such a beautiful message and timely message, Yahuwah. We pray, Yahuwah, that it doesn't go in one ear and out the other, but that we meditate on it, Yahuwah, knowing that it is affecting your people and people all over the world so tragically, Yahuwah. We just pray, Yahuwah, that we dwell, Yahuwah, together, Yahuwah, on one accord, Yahuwah. Stand with you always, Yahuwah. Thank you for allowing us to see this day of life, Yahuwah, asking that we don't take it for granted, Heavenly Abba. Knowing that we don't deserve the mercy that you show upon us, Heavenly Abba, Yahuwah, but that you still allow us to wake up these days, Yahuwah. So we ask, Yahuwah, as we get ready to teach, Yahuwah, and as we depart, Yahuwah, that everyone makes it home safely, Yahuwah, everyone watching, Yahuwah, wherever they are going in their travels, that they walk according to your will, Yahuwah, not according to their own desire, Yahuwah, but according to what you see fit. Not going against the grain, Heavenly Abba, Yahuwah, knowing that our flesh is strong, Yahuwah, and that our spirit is stronger as long as we rely on Yahuwah, live in the spirit. So we just ask that we walk in the spirit, Heavenly Abba, Yahuwah, and not according to our flesh, Abba, Yahuwah. And we thank you for the strength and for the deliverance of your Son, Yahushua, so that our sins can be forgiven, Heavenly Abba. And when we fall short, we know you have mercy and forgiveness, knowing that you are compassionate, Elohim, as long as we walk righteously according to your law, Yahuwah. So we just ask that that's exactly what we do. Yahuwah, that we are alike to all people, Yahuwah, our people, whatever nation, it doesn't matter, Yahuwah, that we just give esteem to your name always, Heavenly Abba, Yahuwah. Bearing your name, not in vain, but righteously, Heavenly Abba, Yahuwah. And we just say, Torah. And we love you and your son, Yahushua, and the mercy that you rain on us. And we just thank you for the good and the bad, Heavenly Abba. Knowing that it tries our faith, Yahuwah. Knowing that our faith needs to be tried at times, Yahuwah. And we just thank you. And we love you. And we pray this now by Hashem, Yahushua, Hamashiach, in the Ruach HaKodesh. So be it.
So be it. Happy New Shabbat Shemaim. Ikadosh. Zemka. Zahot. Melkuka. Yaseh. Lasonka. Maharis. Kashir. Nasha. Bashemaim. Tebadu. Hayom. Ligim. Ikanu. Uzla. Anu. 8. Ashmatenu. Kashir. Sukim. Anaknu. Lashir. Ashmu. Lanu. Wa'al. Tabinu. Leden. Musa. Ki. In. Hasalanu. Min. Ara. Ki. Aka. Amablaka. Wahadi Bora. Wahati Pare. Lome. Ulami. So be it. Hallelujah.